right. You good. Yo, what's happening, everybody, man? Welcome back. Happy Easter, happy 420, whatever your vibe. What's going on to y'all? We're gonna talk some transfer portal stuff. I was on yesterday, last couple of Saturdays, also with Ronnie Spizzato over there at Westlake High School, Sal Morano, Hall of Fame, Sal Morano. Shout out to you over at 321 Media. What is going on, everybody, man? We're going to talk some transfer portal stuff because this shit is getting crazy. This season right here, 24-25, over 11,000 student athletes entered the transfer portal. We're going to break down some of them numbers and more. I'm going to put the invite. If you want to come on, you got something you want to say, I'm going to put that into the comment section. Make sure everybody hears loud and clear. A lot of baseball going on right now. I've been trying to pay attention to what's going on in baseball. Wesley Bulldogs, I was surprised to find out they got 9, 10 guys that can go in the starting pitching at any time they want. Shout out to Ronnie Spizzato over there. Division I baseball, man, really, really heating up. Of course, we got Bishop Hendricken always at the top. But we don't see nothing funny about that, man. Yeah, turf fields going up, turf fields going in. Barlow High School, they were waiting to get a turf field. Last I knew, they had a restraining order. Now it looks like a big friggin' litter box up there at Barlow. What's going on? And a lot of these people that speak up about turf fields are dangerous. I don't even think they know what they're talking about. With Yale High School, Yale High School. Yale College allowed the same type of turf that we're putting in at Wesley, Woonsocket, Oroville. Barrington, I think, has plans for a turf field. I may be behind the 8 ball, but I know Barrington was talking about getting several turf fields. But some people come up with this bull crap that, it's dangerous, it's dangerous, it's dangerous. Yeah, you're dangerous. Shut your mouth. But, get to share it, man. Shout out to Coach Fortin, man. When you coming back to football, man, hit that link, matter of fact. We got Coach Fortin up in here. Shout out to Coach Piper, West Pennington. What's happening to you? We're going to also, it's kind of crazy because now we got these prep schools coming in, right? And one particular prep school in Rhode Island is doing whatever he can to piss every coach off. Not surprised. How are we, what I think is crazy. 1 second. I hope everyone had the chance to check out the Keep It Real comedy fundraiser. I think on April 12th, we had the Keep It Real comedy fundraiser going on up there in Woonsocket. Speaking of Woonsocket, what's going on with Coach B-Ball up there? Shout out to you. I think Woonsocket did him dirty. Maybe we don't have all of the information, all of the facts, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, let me get this music out of here. Get that out of here. Yesterday over there on 321 Media. See, I got it right. I kept saying 321 Westerly, but over on 321 Media, had a great show. Another one with the legend, Hall of Fame, Sal Morano. This clip is from actually 2 weeks ago. Let's talk about that, right? Bishop Hendricken, LaSalle, forever they've been picking on all the public schools, and now the private schools are kind of picking on them. I think Hendricken is totally in like, what the F mode are we gonna do? Because let's face it, a lot of the colleges that Hendricken's getting in there, they're the same colleges that the high school, that are getting on to some high schools. And I mean, with 100 and something players, Coach Pizzato makes a great point. Why go over to one of the private schools, unless you are at the top of your game, so private schools, now prep schools. But be careful with these prep schools, because here's a story. There's a particular coach, that he wants to bring in tuition money, right? You want to make money for your program. $77,000 is a big nut to crack, right? So, you sell the kid the dream. The kid sells the parent the dream. Oh, this is your big break, kid. That's the fish bait, right? The fish bait that they're wiggling in front of a lot of these young kids, and they're checking out what the parents make. They want to make sure. Oh, let's make sure the parent can pay the nut. To get into a school like Portsmouth Abbey, $77,000. Now, Portsmouth Abbey has not been a winner, as going 0-4. So if I'm going to spend $77,000, I don't know if I'm sending my kid to a school coached by Stanley Dunbar, because, no respect to him. What has he won? I mean, I'm just saying, let's keep it real. If you're going to spend 70, 80 grand, aren't you going to send your kid to a school with a winning formula? I mean, $77,000, and they say that they could get that 77,000 with financial aid as low as what the private schools are paying. Well, that's 15,000. Like, you probably got to be dirt poor, like myself, to be able to get that financial aid for your kid. But that is a lot of friggin' money. So anyway, they wiggle the bait in front of the player, tell him it's his big break. Think NFL, the lights, the bond, the bing, the this, the that. So the kid sells it to his father. And that's what a lot of these recruiting organizations do. They teach you in that. Sell the dream to the kid first. Sell the dream to the player. Let the player sell the dream to his parents. And then step two, this is where the recruiter will come in, talk to the parents, and put that extra glow on there. But when you're going to take a kid that, let's say you take a kid that's not the greatest football player, and odds are he would have a problem getting recruited, right? So now you tell him, you sell him all this stuff, you get him all interested, and then you come back to him and you say, I'm sorry. The school won't approve your financial aid package unless you reclassify. That's where they get you. And to answer the question, nah, ain't no public schools. Reclassifying in public schools, probably staying back, repeating the grade. And that's where they're getting a lot of these kids. Let's reclassify. So they get the student to reclassify. Now you're going to do an extra year, to get that 5th year. So now they own you for 2 years. And I just think it's a snake oilsman mentality that you're hustling these kids, knowing that the kid will probably have trouble getting recruited right now. And even going to your program, the kid's probably still going to have trouble getting recruited, but you sold him this big dream. And I just think that's pretty shitty. That's pretty slimy. That really is, for any prep school recruiter to know that this player most likely is not going to get recruited, but we don't care about that. We just care that your daddy can make the nut. We just care that your daddy can pay the bill. And I think that's just some snake shit. If you got a player that will do great going to the prep school, but don't lie to the kid. Don't sell the kid a BS package. When you damn well know that this player, the odds are slim for him to get recruited. And you still, that's just dirty. That's just dirty. And that's what I call a snake oil salesman. And we have a lot of that going on. A lot of kids going to prep school. That's all we hear. I know the privates are kind of like, oh, snap, this is not good. No, actually, it is not good. But listen, today, it's great to see so many of y'all on here. What is going on? We're going to talk a little bit about the transfer portal and what's going on now. The House of Representatives, NCAA, came to a deal. Which, boy, when they came to that deal, their transfer portal started flying. I reached out to a friend of mine, and I said, hey, can you do something? Can you do me a solid? I need you to go on and check out the transfer portal, and basically see what is going on right now. But I want to thank the people that always help make this a possible, man. Shout out to my man Najee Barrows over there at Beast Coast Football Academy. Najee specializing in linemen, bringing these kids in. Not only Najee, there's other coaches involved. Najee gives you a platform that you could come here and coach, bring your students with you. But shout out to Beast Coast Football Factory.
Ready to dominate the field? Join Beast Coast Football Factory. Led by top coach Najee Barrows, we elevate your game at all levels. What we offer: expert training, unique techniques and drills, affordable rates, $25 per session, $40 for 2. Don't miss your chance to work with the best. Contact Beast Coast Football Factory today to schedule your session and level up your game. Beast Coast Football Factory is a proud sponsor of Can We Keep It Real podcast.
To Coach Najee doing what he's doing. And listen, man, if you're looking to buy a home, I think Home Smart Professionals is definitely your best choice. For one, they support youth sports, right? And we have to support the people that support us, right? We have to support the people that support youth sports. So that'll be a great reason to go over here to this organization. But let me get this up right now. Big shout out to Home.
Are you dreaming of the perfect home? Your dream home doesn't have to be just a dream. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, Kathy Foisey from Home Smart Professionals Real Estate is here to make it a reality. Expertise in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, Kathy is ready to guide you every step of the way. Reach out today at 401-486-6587 or email kfoisey1@gmail.com.
And we can't forget my man Greg over there, Greg Stevens over there at the famous New York System over in Oneyville.
Listen, I know it's not comfortable for some of you.
Oops, sorry, that's the wrong one.
Hey Adam, how you been? This is Bobby Peugeot from Providence, Rhode Island. I'm at a legendary place, Oneyville, New York System in Providence, Rhode Island. Established in 1946, 4 generations of the Stevens family. I've been running this place with a secret recipe for the wieners, unlike anywhere else in the world. Rhode Island is known for a couple of great things, being huge Sox and Yankees fans, the beaches of Narragansett and Newport, and the food. Providence is world-renowned for restaurants, but when it comes to lunch to late night, everybody comes to Oneyville, New York System for one thing, the wieners. It's a secret recipe passed down for 4 generations of the Stevens family. Steamed bun wrapped around the wiener with a secret meat sauce, grand mustard, fresh onions, celery salt. Guys come in late night, order 2 tray all the way. This is how I like them, all the way, perfect, with a coffee milk. Also, vintage Rhode Island, so nowhere else in the country. I challenge you, Adam, to come here and break the record.
So get down to Oneyville, New York System. They actually sold the joint. So you know, I like to access the microphone and camera. No, joint the mic. All right. They recently sold the New York System, so some new joint is gonna take it over, some corporate America stuff. But you know, is that gonna work with Oneyville, New York System? Who knows? I'm gonna put the link up on the screen if you want to come on the podcast. Definitely shout out to everybody. Yeah, I was on 321 Media with Sal Morano, Ronnie Spizzato, you know, talking where was it? You know, talking a lot of we were talking RPIs, because I think the RPI conversation definitely is something that needs to be spoken about. You know, we started off in football, you know, several other sports. Now we're coming around to baseball. Let's see what we got here.
Just for athletics,
it's 120 kids on a team.
You need to look forward. You need to look into it because, you know, their freshman football team will have 50 kids on it.
Yeah, I told someone, unless your kid is great, you know, you might want to rethink that, because the same colleges that are going to Hendrick and are looking at these public schools. Right. You know, you see URI, you see Dartmouth, you see Bridgewater, you know, taking these kids. So, I mean, it saves them money, go to public school.
And especially for baseball too, because a lot of the recruiting, when you know the college coaches have the summer off for them, you know, their teams are done, so they actually, if they're seeing somebody in person for baseball, it's probably their summer travel league. So that's actually just as important as high school or more. So you're getting recruited by how you play from high school and the summer, but like you could play at a really bad like high school team that's Division III, but if you're on a great travel team and you're getting you know, seen that way, or and you're going to the showcases, you can go to a great school. You don't have to go to a private school, especially in baseball. Probably basketball either, with all the travel in AAU they have in the spring and summer. It's not really that big of a deal. Football is a little different. You know, there's not, besides that one fall season, there's really not too much going on. I know the youth have some spring leagues now popping up, but that's really young kids. That's like, you know, that's like 14 years old.
Well, there's a lot of stuff involved right now. What I'd like to do is just, we'll talk off the air, but we'll come back. We got a lot of interesting stuff that the folks out there should be interested in. And take a break.
Do we have to press anything?
It's unbelievable. I don't know. Do we press anything, or is Ben gonna?
So we're gonna be live here the whole time.
Yeah, we don't want to be live. All right, Ben, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, but that, you know, talking about why go to a school like Bishop Hendricken or LaSalle, you know, what do they have really to offer you that the publics are not? Publics are sending kids to colleges, Central's sending them away at a clip. You know, a lot of schools are sending kids away. Middletown is sending kids over there, going on to the next level, playing big football. But let's see. My grandkids just showed up. It is Easter Sunday. But I do want to get this out the way. So, you know, right now, as of yesterday morning, I think we had. Let me get this picture out of here. Yesterday morning, I think we had 6,751 active NCAA football players in the transfer portal, right? And these are players from D1. You got FBS, FCS, Division 2, Division 3, right? So let's break this down a little bit, because this is important to know, you know, especially if you're in high school right now and you're looking to move on, eventually go to college. This might help you make a better decision. Everyone's D1 a bust, but you got to think about what's going on in D1 right now, where it's like 45% of the team is bailing into the portal. Division 1, FBS, FCS, they make up 3,610 active portal members that are still in the portal right now. D2, you got like 2,130 active members that are still in the portal. So when you look at Division 3, not as many. We're like 990 active members that are still in the transfer portal. You know, so when we look at the 24-25 season, which includes 2 portal windows, there's a total of over 11,203 students in the transfer portal right now, right? So regardless of what division they're in, you know, that play NCAA football, and this is NCAA football portal, over 11,000 kids are over there in the transfer portal. So during the same year, only 3,375 students are playing NCAA football, regardless of the division, found a new home. That's only 31% of the kids that are going into the transfer portal is coming out and finding a place to play. Now, it's great. We see, like Nadim said today or yesterday, that Rhode Island has never seen so many kids in the power schools. But the problem is, a lot of these power schools, the kids are jumping out to go to other programs because of this new deal with the NCAA and the United States House of Representatives. You know, they basically had to do something, you know, and this all comes down to the NIL, name, image, and likeness, where the court said basically it's border around slavery, what you're doing to these college kids. You're making millions and millions of dollars, and they ain't getting paid for their services. So out of all them numbers and all them kids I mentioned, you know that there's only 659 students that withdrew from the portal, and these kids were able to return to their schools. I mean, low numbers with high friggin' reward. I mean, with high risk. You know, so I wanted to bring that to y'all about the transfer portal. It's definitely getting dark. Coaching changes going on in Rhode Island. High school, something else I wanted to talk about. You had Situate that opened up. You had Coventry. Shout out to Coach Gervasini, Coach Jerv. Shout out to him. You know, shout out to a lot of coaches. Bridgewater, man. Shout out to Bridgewater. Bridgewater brings in one of my son's friends, you know, to be a coach, you know, Michael Garafola. So congratulations to Mike Garafola Jr., a coach over there at Bridgewater. You know, but of all these jobs that came up this year, we seem to still have the same coaches, the same retreads, a lot of people call them. You know, coach may go a couple years. You got to stop some new blood, next generation of coaches, because I know a lot of these coaches eventually going to be retiring soon. You know, Coach Ferraro out there in Burrville, how much longer does he want to do it? Maybe want to spend time with your family? You know, we've seen Coach Marcone, you know, step away from the game. But some say that he might be popping back up at Pilgrim. I don't know. That's just what I heard. You know, and that's where he always wanted to be, you know, a coach over at Pilgrim High School. So shout out to him. You know, but we have guys like, look at Julio Adano, right? Shout out to Julio. You know, he had his youth program, Rotary Elite Athletes. And speaking of that, last week they had a fundraiser. See if I can find it. You know, and we helped them promote it.
Hey there, comedy fans. Get ready to laugh until it hurts at the Keeping It Real Comedy Night on April 12th, 2025. Join us at the Tyra Club in Woonsocket, Rhode Island for a night of hilarious entertainment. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and the laughter kicks off at 8 p.m. You don't want to miss our headliner, the one and only Joel Davis, known for his outrageous humor and unforgettable performances. Plus, enjoy the comedic talents of Carolyn Comau and many more. Tickets are just $20 in advance. That's right, only $30 at the door. Grab your friends, grab a drink, and let's make some unforgettable memories together. Located at 119 West Street, Woonsocket, this is the place to be for a night of laughter and fun. Promote your next event or product with Can We Keep It Real Podcast Network.
That's right. You know, so we made that little clip for him. Shout out to Julio. Shout out to the whole, you know, program. You know, I know that proceeds were going to go to Rhody Elite Athletics, you know, for the football program that he does year-round football. You know, so shout out to that. Let me see what else was going on. Yeah, so a lot of football changes were going on. You know, but speaking of Julio, I want to say, you know, the high schools all passed up on him. I think he applied. Mount Pleasant, I thought, would have been a great job for Julio over there at Mount Pleasant, you know, but I'm not sure if they gave him the job or what. I'm going to actually send Julio a link and maybe see if we can get Julio. Let me see if we can get Julio up on the show, you know, and tell us about all the hard work that he has been. Nope, we don't want that. Let me see. Copy. We'll see if we can get Julio up on here. And because we got some breaking news. We have some breaking news.
I don't think there's any wrong. No, we should have. It'll be done. Yeah, we found them.
We got some breaking news, you know, and the news regards Julio, you know, and usually, you know, I'm quick to bring all this information to you. I mean, who's the first to get the information all the time? But shout out to Julio. Shout out to my man Najee Barrows up there at UMass.Met. And don't forget, you know, if you're looking for a place to train your linemen, and a lot of people usually are, you know, definitely give Najee, you know, an opportunity over there at Beast Coast Football Factory.
Ready to dominate the field? Join Beast Coast Football Factory. Led by top coach Najee Barrows, we elevate your game at all levels. What we offer: expert training, unique techniques and drills, affordable rates, $25 per session, $40 for two. Don't miss your chance to work with the best. Contact Beast Coast Football Factory today to schedule your session and level up your game. Beast Coast Football Factory is a proud sponsor of Can We Keep It Real podcast.
Najee Barrows. Let's see if we can also send Najee, his invite. But yeah, a lot of coaches come up, Situate, that job was open. EWG popped open. Situate, I mean, the coach was there for a couple seasons, and then his seniors dip off. You go down to 2, you lose all your seniors, and then you're like, you know what? I'm going to go to Johnston now. Yeah, typical Silver Lake guy, That's how they do it in the lake. I'm going to go to Johnston now, and I'm going to coach over there at Johnston, and then what else do we have? We have Mount Pleasant opening up, man. Jay Addison getting the boot. Probably long time coming for that. There was plenty of reasons in the past, ejected from multiple games. So Jay Addison gets fired, gets terminated. How did Derek D'Souza say it? Get fired on your day off. I remember Derek D'Souza telling us a story about Jay Addison, about offensive concepts. That's where we got the information, that Jay didn't really understand offensive concepts, that's a crazy concept by itself. But yesterday we were, a lot of baseball going on right now. I'm trying to get this link all set up. All right, give me a minute. I'm going to send this out. We live. Hit the link now. Come on. My damn phone, never any. All right, I know I could do it this way probably. Invite. Copy. Go to my comment section. I think it's crazy that RAIL and all the principal members, how they actually voted when it came to the transgender thing. Let's send it back to the schools. Let's leave it up to the schools to say whether a student is allowed. Man, if you ain't born a boy, then you got no business. I mean, if you are born a boy, you got no business in girls' sports. If y'all ain't going to say it, I'm going to say it. It is what it is. Yeah, but you hit that link, StreamYard.com. Yeah, StreamYard.com /4VZYUT 4YUS. So hit that link. It's in the comment section now. All coaches invited. Hit that link now. Let me see what else we have going on. There's a few things that I wanted to actually I mean, yeah, so in this landscape of the transfer portal, because I think the transfer portal is the most important subject when we're talking about high school student athletes' chance to evolve in the collegiate level. I mean, besides having these snake oil salesmen, that are really selling these kids dreams, that are not keeping it real with these kids, knowing that a kid, is probably going to have a hard time getting recruited, but you sell him a big dream. This is your big break. That was the fish bait that he used, basically, and what if that kid don't get recruited, and you knew all along that player, there's a good chance that he won't be recruited. I think there's something wrong with you, and I wish you would stop saying, oh, you think I do this for the money? Yes, I do. I think you do this for the money when you left the first school. I think you do this for the money when you left the second school. You do this for the money when you went to the third school. You do this for the money when you took over this private prep organization. But we all know you're the 2-year man, so it is what it is. I just hope parents are going to do their due diligence when these prep school coaches are trying to entice you to bring your kid to this school. Look at their past records. Think about it. How much are you willing to invest in your child's education? Now, you're already paying for public school, basically, because you got to pay them taxes regardless. So you end up paying twice, but with this new deal with the NCAA House of Reps, there's some kind of squabble going on because there's a lot of implications for high school football players across the nation. This ain't just going on here. There's a lot of scrutiny over the players' compensation, the structures of student athletes. So I think we all have to pay close attention to this settlement between the NCAA, between the House of Reps. I mean, in the past, like we all know, college football operated on a model, that amateurs restricting these guys from receiving any form of compensation. But this came under a lot of pressure from the courts, saying that nah, wait a minute, pump your brakes. These kids need to be able to profit off their name, like an image, or name, image, and likeness. I mean, a lot of questions about fairness, equity, the treatment of these players. So it promoted the House of Reps to examine how the NCAA practice, they're making billions of dollars, and they're basically taking advantage of your kids, taking advantage of your players. So at what stake, for the high school athlete, right? Scholarship opportunities, they got to grapple with the potential, the future of scholarship funding, the availability of scholarships. Is that going to change dramatically? Absolutely. The NCAA, are they going to be compelled to adapt its model for high school athletes? Find themselves competing for more lucrative or flexible scholarships? Yeah. The recruitment landscape is gonna change big time. One recruiter said it's like the home shopping club up in there. You can sit there all day. You heard the numbers that I said earlier. I mean, if the NCAA is pressured to implement, if they're pressured to implement reform, who's going to pay for it at the end? High school athletes can find themselves not only showcasing their athletic talent, but navigating business relationships with potential sponsors, with agents, with schools. Is it fair? The House of Representatives' involvement, it's a concern over equity in college sports. High school football players, it says high school football players, particularly those from marginalized backgrounds, may benefit from reform aimed at creating a more equitable playing field. More equitable playing field. That's just crazy. I mean, so right now we know we have a new era for high school football players. And it's definitely a pivotal moment. And that's why keep your head on a swivel, because at any moment your shit's gonna change. It's gonna change, and we're gonna see a lot of kids get screwed out of going to college. A lot of kids are gonna get screwed out of going to college. As we watch all this unfold, one thing is clear: you go back 4 years ago, and I said the same shit then that's happening now. Stay involved, stay informed. I had some other notes. Yeah, we'll definitely get back into that. A quick high school baseball roundup, the top 6 teams in Division 1. Let me see, that wasn't it. Maybe we'll have to come back and wrap that up. But football's coming along very, very fast. Bulldogs are up here in Division 1 in several sports. Could we see football going to Division 2? Good question. Very, very good question. I asked Ronnie Spizzato that, when I was on air with him, and he said, the good thing about, if you do go up to Division 1, that you have the opportunity, basically at going for two championships. You got the Division 1 championship. Well, you have the Power 4 championship. And then you have you have the Division 1 championship, and then you have the I'm trying to get the playlist over here for 321 Media.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I don't see the new one from yesterday. Yeah, we'll have to have it on another time, I guess. But yeah, I was talking to Ronnie Spizzato, Sal Morano, and we definitely had a lot to talk about, with the RPI formula, how we rate these games now, and the RPI is going to be the same through all of the sports. Let me see, 321 Media. Yep, not sure. Can't really find it. But you can go to 321 Media and maybe they didn't want my ugly mug on there, huh? But I don't mind going on whenever Sal invites me. But yeah, I'm gonna send this invite out to a couple people's personal mailbox. I can never get out of here. Facebook just showing a blank screen. Yeah, but if you want to be a guest, you want to come on to the podcast, you are definitely welcome. But a lot of coaches, I'll be honest, man, they afraid. A lot of these guys are afraid to come on the podcast. I don't know why, because never have I sandbagged the coach, had a coach come on, ask them some crazy ass questions. They just know I hold them accountable, and a lot of coaches in this sport, they don't want to be held accountable. I mean, truth. A lot of coaches, accountability just don't. I don't reckon I know what that means, sir. A lot of these coaches, they don't want to be accountable. Let's keep it real, right? Someone sent me this. It says, you want to talk about keeping it real? Where the gridiron battles ignite and the passion you feel from Bishop Hendricken to LaSalle Academy, NK Skippers and the Cranston Knights. They're all part of the symphony. The Bulldogs bring the bite, fierce and bold. East Providence Townie, legends of old. Woonsocket Villanovans, their pride runs deep. And the West Warwick Wizards are casting spells in their sleep. Coventry Oakers, they got heart and drive. But Coach Cook's absence, it's a roller coaster ride. Oh, the new coach steps up, has to really coach. I guess they're talking about Alejandro here. The new coach steps up, and he really has to coach. Guiding the team, that's just crazy. Guiding the team through victories, not quite. Pilgrim Patriots, they fight with valor and might. Classical, North Smithfield, and EWG are all in the fight. And don't forget Davies making waves in the East. Their determination and spirit never cease. Now we have Can We Keep It Real podcast, the voice of the streets. Youth sports, hip-hop, and life's raw beats. From the community to the trending topics we discuss, Mikey keeps it authentic, no fuss. So let's raise our helmets, salute the game. Rhode Island football forever in our name. And to the players, coaches, and fans who stand tall, Can We Keep It Real keeps it fierce. This is our call. Thank you to the kid that wrote this. Really appreciate it. That was pretty lit. Appreciate you. Oh, look at this. Another thing. They said the fine line between coaching and self-interest takes a closer look at prep schools' practices. In the world of high school sports, the motivations of a certain coach comes into question. And they truly dedicated to the development and well-being of their athletes, or are they more focused on personal gain? And of course, they're talking about Portsmouth Abbey. They're talking about the new dog up there, the new guy that's running the program up there, Coach Dunbar. Don't get on me. I ain't the one saying it. I ain't the one saying it. It says this dilemma has surfaced once again, but this time centered around Portsmouth Abbey's football program, whose methods have raised eyebrows among some of us parents and educators alike. Is the coach really recruiting high academic students with the promise of a big break? A chance for these students to shine on a larger stage? But this coach has to know that some of these students can't match the energy. But definitely the opportunity up there, Abby, it comes with a catch. You have to reclassify. Repeat your grade. Stay in high school another year. But listen, this isn't really about you staying in high school another year. This is securing another year of money, another year of aid for the student and their family. But we'll definitely pick this up probably have to pick this up a little bit later. Let me see. Critics argue that the approach is less about nurturing talent and more about financial incentives for the school. Yes. Thank you. Anonymously written. It says critics argue that by doing this, it's less about the young talent that you're bringing into the program and more about the financial aid incentives for that program. The reality is that many of these students may not be on the radar of collegiate recruiters, raising questions about the legitimacy of the promises that Dunbar is making. This ain't my words. This is sent to me. This ain't me. This is another local high school coach in Rhode Island. He said he's been suggesting that these tactics are more about self-serving interest of Dunbar than the genuine mentorship. So now parents and people in the area, you got to digest these revelations. The concern's growing that the focus on monetary gain could overshadow the goal of high school athletics, stopping the growth, the teamwork, the character in a lot of these young individuals. These practices extend beyond the football field, calling into question the ethical responsibility of coaches and the institutions they represent. So in this era where young sports are increasingly scrutinized, the situation over at the Abbey serves as a reminder of the complexities involved. And I didn't write this. I would never say complexities in my life. Are you leaving? Coming back?
I gotta speak to lawyers.
All right, give me a second, people. We're gonna talk to my son, and we'll continue what this coach had sent me.
Are you dreaming of the perfect home? Your dream home doesn't have to be just a dream. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, Kathy Foisey from HomeSmart Professionals Real Estate is here to make it a reality. Expertise in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, Kathy is ready to guide you every step of the way. Reach out today at 401-486-6587 or email kfoisey1@gmail.com.
I'm going to call the 4th Division Court.
That is absolutely crazy.
Ready to dominate the field? Join Beast Coast Football Factory. Led by top coach Najee Barros, we elevate your game at all levels. What we offer: expert training, unique techniques and drills, affordable rates, $25 per session, $40 for two. Don't miss your chance to work with the best. Contact Beast Coast Football Factory today to schedule your session and level up your game. Beast Coast Football Factory is a proud sponsor of Can We Keep It Real podcast.
20 days to return it.
Yes, 20 days absolutely to return us.
I gave her the address. She responded to the address. We're going to ask her, when the fuck are we going to get a security deposit? She's like, her attorney has it and all that. And her attorney told her not to talk to me. And I'm like, your attorney doesn't sound like a real attorney.
Because it's probably one of our fucking goofy friends.
Probably. This is just going to make it easier for me. She's like,
All right, we are back. Let me finish getting this off.
put your baskets in
I'll
the
probably have to delete it. So, in the era where youth sports are increasingly scrutinized, the situation over at the Abbey serves as a reminder that the complexities involved raises critical concerns about the balance between ambition and integrity in coaching and the potential consequences for students that are going to get caught in the crossfire. So basically, this is saying that they're offering students that maybe, may have a little bit of trouble getting recruited, and students that we don't even know are on collegiate colleges, on their crosshairs. And are they looking out for these kids? And you're just giving these kids, bad information, and you're not being too honest about what's going on over there. So this comes from another coach inside, the football community. And not all these coaches can say what they want to feel, so they have to come over here, and have your boy talk about it, because who else is gonna talk about it? So they're saying that coaching is a self-interest, so that's what's up, man. I was just talking a few minutes ago. A lot of these young kids that are graduating high school, they're getting, they may have a baby, have some kids come in, trying to do the right thing, goes out there and rents an apartment, right? So my there's a student that graduated Westerly High School in the class of 21. His fiance graduated the class of 2020, and they went and rented an apartment, gave up $4,000. A couple weeks after that, the lady knew that the dude had kids, so she rents him the apartment. 2 weeks later, she terminates the lease, right? She's just a royal bitch, absolutely. So basically he tells him, you gotta move, calls the cops about things, so he ends up putting a camera up in the apartment, and notices on the camera they get an alert. The lady had her friend break into the house. Like, it's just crazy. So a lot of you young kids, or parents that may have young kids that are going out there, have kids and they want to get a family of their own. It's hard enough for a lot of these young parents to be able to get by day to day without some wannabe landlord that has an apartment that's not even a legal apartment. Notice was put there that this is not a legal apartment, but you got to return these kids' Social Security deposit. Like, these young kids, class of 2020, class of 21, trying to do the right thing. Kid just got beat for $4,000. Call the Hopkinton PD. What can be done? It's not a court issue when someone breaks in my house. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a landlord or what. Once you cross that plane, once you cross that threshold, you just committed a felony. And to make matters worse, that the kid is fighting for his security deposit. Like, you're totally screwed over this young kid. And is that what we're doing? We're screwing over, the young kids that are, they have a couple kids, trying to do the right thing. But we're going to talk about that a little bit more. So happy Easter, everybody. Happy 420, all that good stuff. But I hope the breaking news I had was that Julio O'Donnell, after being passed up by 6 programs in high school, Julio O'Donnell is now an NCAA football coach. Congratulations to Julio. Congratulations to Bridgewater. Another local Rhode Island coach heading up there to Bridgewater. Yep, so they heading up there to Bridgewater, man. Everybody that's been holding it down, keeping it real. Big shout out to our sponsors.
Where's your shoes? Really? Get your shoes on.
Yeah, big shout out to our sponsors, man. Big shout out to everybody in the community that's been holding it down. Karen Reed goes on trial this week. Shout out to the Karen Reed defense team. Free Karen Reed. You know, shout out to everybody holding it down. Everyone that supports us in the community. You know, and how can I leave here without a big shout out to my boy, to my son.
Listen, no one's going to give you more coverage. No one's going to be at more games. No one's going to be more informed. I'm not just some guy sitting in his basement spouting off about who's winning games and who's doing what. We're real. The rebellion is real. Providence Journal coverage is going to be real this year. It's almost here. 3 days away.
Clown sauce. Definitely Eric Group is a freaking clown. That's my son.
Oh, the alignment's good for football on second thought. Dude, you crapped on it this whole video, man. And I haven't even got on you for going after the parents at East Greenwich, man. I wish I had that video uploaded.
And she posts the whole message. And I think she thought that the whole internet was going to be like, yeah, you got him, go, you go, girl. This is where the Karens make mistakes, because the internet did not like what she wrote. And the internet proceeded to attack it. I was just sitting there like, I have...
This guy really put under that. I play Karen with my kids. My God, who plays Karen with their kids? But we out of here, man. You already know it's your boy. You know, always gonna bring you facts.
We don't do no talking. We know what they do for the viewers. If I took a loss, no, I got it all back. They just wanna talk, so we gonna talk facts. Got it out the mud, got it out the mud.
That's the bad guy. Bad guy. Bad guy. That's the bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy. Commission. The bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy.
Load up that queen. We don't do no talking. We know what they do for the viewers. If I took a loss, no, I got it all back. They just wanna talk, so we gonna talk facts. Got it out the mud, got it out the mud.
I love what Mikey does. Sometimes I'm like, yo, you over the edge, TMZ with it. But
the boy gonna do you something nasty.
I hate to say it, more times than not, he get the results he wants.
Right, and to be honest with you, I honestly don't think it's over. Honestly, I think exactly what this state needs. We've always needed a platform where we can call out the nonsense,
the repercussions.
And you know, give people the props that they deserve, and call out the people who are full of it. And honestly, I think that more and more people are starting to utilize Mike's platform for that. You know, and honestly, I know a lot of folks. You know, a lot of people talk to me, "Oh, Emerson, like you're on there and you talk this and you talk that," and I'm like, "Listen," I said, name one thing that he's been wrong about. And then there's silence.
But boy.
Right.
Because they know. Because honestly, like that stuff that's being exposed, they're like, oh damn, how did he find out about it? And again, you know, Mike has his sources, and I never get into that. But at the end of the day, man, what he exposes is the truth, and people don't want to hear that. They want to hear the watered down version. They want to hear, oh well, I don't know how he found that out. Blah blah